Alright, hello and welcome everyone back here to Starladder Season 11. We're kicking off Southeast Asian Dota. This is going to be the second game of the night. We've got the somewhat newly formed Gard going up against MiTH Trust, coming back off of, well, that pretty rough first game against Rave, but they've had a bit of downtime. And anyways, I'm Helium, sometimes known as Zordon apparently, and joining me now to keep me awake, it's going to be Blaze. How are you doing?
Doing really well, man. This fine morning we get some SEA Dota, and we get some two really good teams. For those that don't know here, Gard is not just your run-of-the-mill, random team you've never heard of. Well, they may be, but the players composing this team certainly are not. Winter, Ling, Sharky, WTF, as well as Too Fucking Good, aka TFG, is going to be assembling this lineup, and it is just an amazing thing. Like, this is Team Malaysia 2.0. None of the Team Malaysia 1.0 players, but still a great representative of the nation's strength, skilled players, and I honestly think there's a lot of potential with this lineup. And we saw pretty much all these guys running in one of the later iterations of Johnny's Revenge, and forming this squad here, I think that they have a lot of potential. Winter already gets his signature off-lane Tidehunter pickup, and the Skywrath Mage as well is going to give them great potential to burst down heroes like Razor. Like, before Razor gets a BKB, he's just going to be food for this Skywrath if they can get a good combo of disables, and I honestly think that that's going to be to their strength as far as getting early kills and early movement. So WTF is drafting here, and it is looking pretty good. Whereas MiTH Trust, obviously, they had some issues getting through their match against Rave.
Yeah, I'm just happy that they're no longer called Johnny's Revenge, because Johnny wasn't even on the team for a pretty extended period of time, and nothing made any sense. But now it finally does. I'm not sure Gard makes the most sense either, but hey, we'll figure out what it means. But yeah, the Tidehunter, the Skywrath Mage, some synergy there. The ultimates together to single out one person if you're the Sky. But Earthshaker, pretty annoying, rather defensive hero, but if he gets his items up, he can pile on the aggression, catch people off guard. Him and Razor looking like a pretty strong duo. We'll take out the other really deep hero, Elder Titan. Going to be dropped out. Naga Siren as well, with no singing, no fun, no singing, and there they get it. MiTH Trust will pick up their Morphling. It was Respect banned out in the second phase of bans by Rave. Also Anti-Mage and Ancient Apparition, but Morphling, I know you love them. What do you got for us?
Lakel's Morphling is absolutely legendary. This literally dates back to Dota 1, and from my esports viewing perspective, it goes all the way back to TI1 Dota 2. This is the first Morphling picker in Dota 2. Lakel's opens up with it in one of their first games in the International 1 in 2011, and he won my heart that very instant. Like, I was literally on my feet the moment he did, because I love this hero. I played him all the time in AP pub, or APM pubs, actually. Yeah, easy mode.
Wow, dude. Trash.
But yeah, no, but this hero he's had some rough times with the nerfs that he received, but since his rebuffs, he's come back into the scene in a big way.
Since he got his waveform casting back.
Yeah, the animations was a really big hitter. I mean, he has had some morph modifications. The 30 instead of 20 mana per second does make it so you have to be worried about your efficiency a little bit more. But at the end of the day, he's definitely the hero that he always was, and maybe not as Imba flavor of the month as TI2 had him be in Seattle. But, you know, here we are with him on the battlefield in 6.82, and I think he's definitely an above-average hero, and in the right hands can be absolutely incredible. Will be countered out a little bit by the silence here. You can't toggle your morph strength on when you're afflicted by the Ancient Seal, or if you cast it after you start strength morphing, then you're forced for that full duration, which is usually going to be 6 seconds there, to be just turning all of your damage into strength, probably more than you would have liked. So it really just depends on how much offensive pressure they put on him. If they catch him off guard, they can just insta-give him, and if he's not careful enough with his stats, then he's going to have to morph early. You, in that situation, could just silence him and focus everybody else, because suddenly he becomes a tank and not a damage dealer. But yeah, we do see Jakiro is going to be the follow-through here, so some good split push, as well as a direct brute force push, as well as the Earthshaker to kind of break up the battlefield. I think overall, MiTH Trust have a really good, resolute lineup, but Gard still have some tricks up their sleeve.
Yeah, I actually really like Earthshaker and Jakiro supporting together. Like, talk about breaking up the battlefield. A Fissure, and then an Ice Path, like crisscrossing or lined up, parallel, orthogonal. Like, it doesn't matter. It's so much space. Now we've got an Ice Wall as well, dude. This is going to be like a geometry class if we see all these abilities in one team fight. And then you've got the Macro Pyre as well coming off of that. If you block someone in, it's really great synergy. They're defensive supports. And they'll try to keep that Morphling alive. And like you talked about the silence, if you do get silence, you can't turn off the Morphling. And that's really why they ban out that Ancient Apparition in that second phase. Like, you get stuck morphing to Strength, and you've got Afflicted by Ice Blast, like, you kill yourself.
Literally, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It is a full, and it's not even like a suicide. It is, you're killing
Oh, yeah, you
yourself,
die.
but they're getting the credit. So it's absolutely brutal. You set yourself up for a huge shatter that way because you don't gain current HP. You only gain the maximum, which is actually really bad when you're ice blasted up there. So it's a very fair point. In general, AA is really strong against Morphling, but with the Sky Wrath could be devastating. So definitely a smart ban out there. They also ban out the Void. I think Morphling actually deals with Void decently well, but Razor does not. Razor can be picked off pretty well, and the Chain Frost in Chronosphere would be bad no matter who you are, Morphling or not. Chain Frost jumping all around after Ravage, after Chrono. It's a dangerous, dangerous thing. I'm going to see the Invoker here. Not sure if we're looking at a Wex Invoker, which the mana burn is actually extremely relevant against MiTH Trust team. They're all pretty mana dependent, especially if Razor goes mech. But the Exort Invoker could be really strong as well. I mean, you get the combo, you get a simple Frost Blast Concussive. That should be enough to make a Sunstrike pretty easy. And I'm curious actually what the roles are going to be here. I'm assuming we're still looking at Ling and Sharky supporting. We have seen Ling go carry recently, though. So, yeah, there might be a bit of a switcheroo. But in the end, I'm pretty sure Winter's taking Tide to the off lane. WTF will be picking up a core role, and we'll see from there.
Yeah, and I know the last time we covered and we got to see an Invoker, it was some ridiculous Invoker play. So we'll see if that gets replicated here, as Invoker was that fourth pick. We'll also get to see what he's going to choose to do, whether it be Quas Wex or Quas Exort. But, hey, Batrider also banned out by Gard, and now we're waiting on MiTH Trust to get that fifth hero. They need an offlaner, and, well, the hero was one of the most popular offlaners for a long period of time, but look at this. Skywrath Mage, intelligence. Lich, intelligence. Invoker, tons of intelligence. He's the smartest wizard there is. Nyx Assassin is going to be looking to have some big, big mana burns.
I don't know. Pugdom might take you up on that one a little bit, but
Oh, I didn't say the biggest.
didn't you?
Lich, I said big, big mana burns.
You said he's the smartest wizard there is. Pugdom.
Oh, you meant on that claim. All right.
Yeah. Still,
Yeah, dude, no. Pugna does not even come
true.
close to counting. He got a Nether Drake, and he couldn't even keep Viper enslaved, and then Viper turned on Pugna and owned him. Like,
I'm not saying he's good. I'm just saying he's
it's
smart.
weak. Yeah, I don't
There's
know,
a lot of
man.
smart
I feel
people who make dumb decisions.
I feel like those go hand in hand a little bit.
Oh well. WTF is going to be running this Ember Spirit here, a really solid pickup in his own right. And how do you gank this guy? Like, obviously the Nyx Assassin has a good start because the Vendetta does a lot of damage to Ember Spirit. He's very low armor, but it's not like they have an instant stun coming out. The Ice Path, the Fissure, they're both very dramatic delay. Even the stun from Nyx Assassin, the Impale, does have a bit of a wind up there. That should be enough time in most situations for the Ember Spirit to just jump out with the Activate Fire Remnant. The only instant stun they're going to have is Echo Slam, which you usually don't just want to jump in on one hero with, but in this case, it may just be necessary. It's all about catching the Ember Spirit off guard. They can start nuking them crazy hard if they do get that opener, but that's not going to be until the Earthshaker gets his Blink Dagger. So we'll be waiting for that one. And in general, I think it's a great hero to take it to the late game, but it's still going to be on the back of Winter getting a Refresher Orb. I don't think they win this game unless they get the Refresher Orb up. It'll help out Sharky's Chain Frost. It'll just give them more time to dish out damage with Sleight of Fist. They absolutely need the double Ravage here, and fortunately, they're not up against that many BKB carriers. The Razor definitely will go BKB. Lakel's on the Morphling certainly can, though it is an item that I think he prefers to avoid if at all possible.
Yeah, one more thing that can actually get in the way of the Ember Spirit, and I think might be the more guaranteed, is Jakiro going for the Yule Scepter and dropping him onto the Macro Pyre and a well-timed Ice Path. And if he lands in that Ice Path, then there's a little bit more time for someone else to throw a Fissure, throw an Impale, or do whatever you got.
Against most heroes, I think that would be really good, but against Ember Spirit, it's actually not fast enough. The Ice Path has enough delay as far as the tick rate, as far as how quickly it actually stuns you.
Yeah.
Like you can
He
actually
might catch
blink
him.
out
He
of
might
that.
get away.
You used to be able to blink out of that shit, but since Yule's obviously negates Blink Dagger, it's something like Activate Fire Remnant that'll actually get you out of that spot. So, yeah, actually, it has the possibility of doing so. I definitely agree, but we're probably not going to be seeing an early enough
Yeah, those are all still so item dependent. Like it's a
Yules.
blink on Earthshaker, honestly probably a blink on Nyx, and or the Yule Scepter on Jakiro that are going to really have any potential to lock down the Ember, who we will actually see here on the side of Gard. First time I'm going to get to see them play here under this new team tag. It's going to be WTF on that Ember Spirits. We've got Ling here, or I like this, the Guardling. I'm going to keep calling him that now. We've got the Guardling there. He's going to be playing the Skywrath. Single player, the stand-in here. You said that was...
TFG.
Yeah, TFG, right? Okay, on the Invoker in the middle lane. Let's see if he can live up to his name. Let's see if you guys can figure out what TFG stands for. We've got Winter on the Tidehunter, signature offlane hero there, and Sharky on the Lich with that sacrifice. Just looking to slow down the experience here from Lakel's with those sacrifices.
Yep. So gonna help Winter out significantly on this offlane here. He still goes for the Stout Shield buildup, which indicates that he might not have as many points in Kraken Shell early, which also means that he may not be prioritizing Ancients as heavily. So we are gonna see the ping out. Sharky is gonna be going for the stack here. I just find it odd that the Stout Shield was picked up when tied at level 4 with a standard build should be making that item 100% worthless. But either way, for now, it'll allow him to get the experience, and maybe that's the important thing, is not getting zoned as heavily by this Jakiro, so he can get to that level 4.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's just so you get to level 4.
In the meantime, we're going to see Invoker start out with Quaz here, which would imply to me it's a Quaz Wex Invoker. If they can get the Tornado set up, this just makes things like Chain Frost all the more powerful, potentially setting up something like Mystic Flare as well. Can you imagine Tornado Cold Snap on the Mystic Flare? Like, that's some absolutely insane synergy there that you can't run away from, and I think that there's a lot of potential in bringing down a hero like Razor with that kind of a combo, as well as I mentioned, a lot of mana reliance on the side of Myth Trust as a whole.
Yeah, I think that's why the choice is made to go Quas Wax. I mean, you land a good EMP, it's really, really going to hurt some people. I mean, Echo Slam, rank 3? Let's see if Earthshaker can even get level 16, but that's 265 mana. I mean, you get hit by an EMP as a strength hero, like, you're just not going to find that. So that could really limit the abilities.
Oh,
the
Winter, though.
Here. Oh, Winter in the bottom lane doesn't quite get blocked. Little path through the bushes there. And, yeah, back to the Stout Shield, though. I mean, I was wondering as well, and I was like, is this just something people do? Obviously, it will stack with the first level of Kraken Shell a little bit. So, like, you have the 100% block on the 10 damage reduction, but there is still a 60% chance to block 20.
40.
So, like, it is a little bit better.
Thinking of something else. But yeah, we're going to see Winter take a huge amount of damage, though, and it might actually bring him down. No, the Magic Stick, the Salve. It's going to be a bunch of tower hits going the other way here. So, under a lot of siege, but end of the day, Winter and Tide are on the Tide, and Sharky on the Lich are getting some good experience here. And as soon as Sharky hits level 3, Lakel's farm is just going to be absolutely suppressed. Like, not only are they getting Tide off his feet by the fact that the Lich is here, but they're actually taking one creep from every wave for Lakel. So even with perfect last hitting, you're still getting about 75% of the potential GPM. And I think that's a really big deal. So Sharky, if he gets the second point of sacrifice here, that will be really limiting Lakel's farm. And it's just going to be on them to get that kill. I mean, I think that was the right play. They got a good amount of harassment, but end of the day, they won't actually finish him off.
Yeah, looking at Winter and Sharky, I mean, they're almost level 3 down there. Sharky's actually a little further ahead, maybe some sacrifices by himself. Comparing him to the Nyx Assassin, who's actually seeing some heat right now as well. Barely over level 3, so even having 2 people in this offlane with that Lich, it's not going too poorly for them in terms of that experience. Earthshaker also level 2. We'll check in with the supports. Boombell up to 3, and Lakel's also just a little over 3. Let's see where who was stacking those Ancients. That was that Ling or was that Sharky? That was just Sharky moving off the lane. Yeah, okay, so he's going back over towards that.
And Lich can do this very frequently. Like, he gets so much experience just every 36 seconds or so that he is perfectly fine to be off the lane very frequently and still be able
Surprised they
to
don't
move
ward
forward.
it on the side of Myth
Yeah.
Trust. I mean, like, you're going to give away a tie to the dire side like this, and a Lich. Like, you expect the Lich to show up mid, to show up in the off lane, to try to sacrifice, keep the creep wave back, limit experience, stack Ancients, as we're clearly seeing. I think he actually failed on that pull, but, well, he's going to
He's
get
got
tied
he's
a
got
lot of
triple.
items later on.
It's a triple stack there, so no matter what, he's getting his job done. You'll hear me complain a lot about Tide in general, or sorry, about Lich in general, like as a hero pick. I don't think he brings a lot to the table as far as what he can contribute in the early stages of aggression and in the later stages if the team is good enough to delta split the Chain Frost. But I think this is where Lich absolutely shines. This is the strongest way you can run a Lich, where he's taking experience. Actually, Nyx Assassin will be going down on top. I saw the harassment earlier, and I saw Spike Carapace being like, okay, well, he's not going to be able to get that kill, and it was true they had to back off, but round 2 comes out, and with a level 3 Skywrath, it was pretty easy picking. So nice way to start off the match. And yeah, again, I think this Lich is at his strongest right here, where he can get 2 points up in sacrifice the off lane so the carry doesn't get anything, the offlaner gets a little bit more, and then obviously what he's doing with the Ancient Camp. I think that's really the best way to use a Lich in this metagame.
Yeah, I mean, they're hurting his experience a little bit. He's obviously sharing the lane with some support. So comparing his CS, he's 24-19. Razor, same team, 25-11, but is, solo XP, not having any of them sacrificed. MyPro's already up to level 6 right now. We'll check the reverse roll on the other team, or whatever. Level 5 is the Ember Spirit, so you can see that he's about a full level ahead of that Morphling, and that's all up to the Lich. But Jab getting some jabs in there, forcing Ember back a little. Some revenge, as this was the hero to go down for the first blood. Sort of with the regen boots, poor man's shield, makes this Nyx Assassin very hard to kill, and he's almost level 6 as well. And that Vendetta's online. Where do you think he heads first? Does he go to the middle lane? He might have to buy some dust if he wants to kill this Invoker, though.
Yeah, it's not the easiest kill for sure. Like you mentioned, the Ghost Walk can be applicable.
Even
to
Tornado
taking
and just
things away.
run.
Yeah, that's also extremely potent. So I honestly don't think that he needs to get the kill just yet. Getting a couple levels in the other values can be really important too. Like Vendetta ganking is good if the enemy team is being aggressive. Like if they're starting to push one of the tier 1s, that's a good time to roam around, get a double stun and a Vendetta opener, and help your team for a really good early skirmish. But as it stands, I could say he could sit here till like level 7 or 8 at least, as long as he keeps the TP ready. We'll just have to see if he finds that opening. But for right now, I just don't think anybody's exposed enough. That said, right now, as far as status quo things go, the lanes are going really well for MiTH Trust. You would assume a Razor versus a Wex Invoker would be doing well, but MyPro just absolutely insane dominance here. 30-12 over Invoker's 15-10. So the Invoker is getting a lot of denies against him, which takes away from the fact that he is extremely dependent on experience. And even with the phase boots now, he's still not finding that much as far as early GPM.
Jab going down again up there. WTF's going to get the kill credit. That's his first one there. He got the assist on the first blood, so involved in 2 of those 2 kills right now. About 400 gold, 400 experience going over towards Gard. In the bottom lane now, Tidehunter still at that level 4. So the Nyx Assassin, he's gone down, but he's about to hit 6. So there's a bit of difference in experience there. Of course, Sharky's been down here, stacking up those Ancients. It did spawn again there. So you got, I guess technically it's stacked twice, but triple stack.
Is it a quad now?
It's honestly really hard to tell. Yeah, actually there is a Thunderhide in there. I see it. There's a Thunderhide.
He's hided. You have to like
really
showcase view him.
dude.
Man, even in showcase view, you only get like a few side bits of him there.
This
But
dragon face, dude, I like it.
siding out.
Looks happy.
Big group huddle.
Where am I even clicked? Oh my god.
He's a football in the huddle there. But yeah, in this situation, the Tide is still going to take a little while to farm up these Ancients. The Tide build, this explains the Stout Shield right here. The fact that Winter went for a level 4 point in Gush. If he's going for a 0-2-3 build, I honestly think no matter the case, your Stout Shield is a dumb choice compared to Boots of Speed.
I mean, you can resell it for half, and it allows you to edge out in the lane to get your levels maybe a little bit easier.
I just think Boots first is better.
Yeah, it's definitely up for contention.
But if you go for a point and gush, I think that it is a valuable pickup, and that's what Winter does here. So essentially, when they want to get aggressive, they put a frost blast out, they put a gush out. It's essentially really good when the enemy's trying to harass them under tower. The tower aggroes them, and then suddenly they're taken down to half movement speed and -2 armor. The tower's going to do a lot more damage to help them out. So it isn't the most mana efficient early game, and it is going to delay how fast you can do the ancients. Probably waiting till maybe level 7 to do them, maybe even level 8. But at the end of the day, it's not like MiTH Trust are going to be sniping them. Like, they don't have a hero that can clean up a quad stack of ancients, even though they know about it with the Radiant Observer Ward on that plateau.
Yeah, maybe Tide goes for it maybe a little bit earlier where he's still taking some damage, and the Nyx Assassin can find him out with the Vendetta, because he is 6. We talked about he could put his point elsewhere. I feel like Vendetta, though, if you're in the offlane, even good as like a potential escape ability. At least you still force out the buying of Dust of Centuries from Gard.
I would agree, but this Skywrath has been so on point on the silences. Like, the 2 times Nyx has died, he hasn't even gotten the chance to use a Spike Carapace. Not that it would be
true.
A lifesaver.
It's a maxed Ancient Seal again. Second game in a row, 2 different teams maxing that Ancient Seal.
Oh, you gotta, in this situation. Against the Morphling in particular, it is extremely good to have that up very quickly. There's a lot of value in getting a second point in Arcane Bolt, because a 4-second cooldown on that spell is insane. But I definitely think the Ancient Seal max is the way to go this game. So, yeah, that's making it very difficult. The Nyx is going to rotate, though. Will he get his level 6 in time for this gank to be appreciated? We look at Dire Vision. They do not know about this Nyx. And the last creep will be giving him his Vendetta. So this definitely could be the opener you were talking about.
I feel like with just 2 of them, actually no, we see yellow there, SD a little bit to the south, going to try to block him off, but there's no detection, so I mean, if he doesn't panic, if he stays calm, invokes up that Ghost Walk, like what are they going to do to him? And I'm not even confident they get it, like just Tornado and disengage.
There you go.
They're going to try to start with a Fissure, but that's going to miss. Now they're under the tower, there's the Tornado, a lot of damage being taken here, no detection. He kind of gambles with it running this way. He's actually got Sentries and Wards himself, going to keep the footprints up. As some help has come in. There's a Ling on the Skywrath, and we've actually got Sharky on the Lich wrapping around. The regen rune is bottom. Invoker's like, you know, I don't normally grab runes, but I think I'll go for that one.
Delicious. And that nullifies the gank entirely. Like, they force a TP rotation. But
And they didn't even need the TP on the side of Gard.
They did not. But they thought maybe there was some turnaround potential, but the static link was on the Invoker the whole time, so he literally was hitting for 0 damage. They really couldn't have followed that up. But they get the regen rune, and he's looking fine and dandy on the lane. Has some good defensive spells invoked. And, yeah, across the board, they're feeling pretty good. Winter on the offlane is going to get hit by the Ice Path here. Will the Fissure be good enough, though? They're going to pop it. It does block him off.
Looks like it will be.
There is the path, but it's not going to be enough. He will be falling here. So 3 things going really good for Morphling right now. Getting the assist on that kill, getting damn good CS, and getting the Hand of MiTH out extremely early. Like, that is a very well-timed MiTH, and although I don't generally prefer the item on the hero, with this kind of timing and this momentum behind you, you're going to be able to get so many items. On the top lane, though, that Silence comes out from the Skywrath Mage, the Searing Chains does connect.
So much damage from Flame Guard. Holy crap. With that Ancient Seal up for 5 seconds, and also the Searing Chains and Flame Guard is what I meant, I think, the first time. But that Nyx is just going. He's melting. Melting's not really fast. Everyone says melting, but that's like not a fast process. I think vaporize is better.
Sure. I think that's appropriate. It's interesting because Nyx is actually really good at surviving against physical auto attacks. He has 6 armor right now. He's got Poor Man's Shield. He can block a lot of right-click damage, but yeah, he get 470 damage out of that Ember Spirit through his spells almost entirely. He is able to burn. So that is looking really good for them. In the end, though, I think Gard still need to up their tempo. Like, they are up against a MiTH Morphling and a Razor that almost has a mechanism here because he's got 54 CS. Even if he hasn't gotten a kill out of his lane, he's just gotten so much, and they're actually looking for the 5-man Dota play. Nyx is scouting out. We'll find a couple of targets, but we'll see if he gets the opener.
Gonna check quickly through inventories here for Gard. They've got sentries on a Ling. It looks like it will drop them and jab Familiar. Feeling right there. Not able to cast, not able to talk. He's silenced. They're going to find out SD as well. That's 2 to drop right now. The landing stage was going fantastic, but kind of similar to the last game, these decision-making in the mid-game and the late game is really hurting MiTH Trust, and although their lanes are fantastic, they've got Lakel's on a signature hero right now, but he's not leading in net worth. It's Ember, because Ember's been involved in 4 kills, and he's got pretty much similar farm. He does lack the Hand of Midas, but he's already got the Phase the Drums, is working towards the Battle Fury, which kind of like his hand. It's no Battle Fury AM, but it still accelerates your farm.
Yeah, most definitely. It's also worth noting that there was a deny on the towers, so in general, MiTH Trust is going to have a gold advantage now because there have been no towers claimed by Gard, but the fact that the Morphling isn't at the top of the net worth, and with the 2 Midas transmutes ahead, is really quite unfortunate. Well, it's about to be 2 Midas transmutes. He actually chooses a different neutral camp, says, Satyrs, you don't give enough experience value, so he does claim the Wild Wing instead. But all the same, you make a very valid point that the Ember Spirit is really far ahead because of his early contributions. I mean, that was a really amazing counter gank execution by the team as a whole when they got that Sentry Ward down. But it's kind of MiTH Trust making the sloppy plays. If they just play passive, wait for the mechanism to come out, that's when they have some really good guaranteed fights.
All right, single player, aka 2FG, 2 effing good, is a little behind here. Only 3.6k. He'll go back into the jungle, look to throw out some stacks. This isn't.
He's going to have a Midas too.
Will this stack? Oh yeah, he's going to slow him up.
Nope.
No, it doesn't. That was just, what is that? Lich armor? I was wondering what was slowing them. It was the Lich armor. Yeah, I don't know. Could have maybe got a stack and try to clear them together, but that's not a good sign that he's like off the lane completely, clearing one camp by himself. And why is he doing this? Giving Skywrath the mid lane? I mean, Skywrath's already level 8. Winter, level 7, just 1 point in Kraken. He needs at least 2. Or, yeah, 2 points in Kraken with some regen is fine, but 3 points in Kraken, you'll take no damage. From those Ancients, that is.
I think he was just trying to get those easy CS to get the Midas up. He was only 100 gold off of it, so just to get that last camp, head back to base.
Oh, that's it. All right.
And then he's ready to rumble with the Midas on top of it. They really want to kill Lakel's here.
Yeah, the smoke.
He's got 750 HP with his current strength allocation, and they are waiting for the silence. Can they get it? Yes, they get the silence! Kaboom!
Okay,
Kapow, I should say.
Not a hard kill if you find him walking around with like creep HP and then you just use everything on him. All those big abilities, the ultimate, the Chain Frost even coming out during the duration of that 5-second Ancient Seal, and it's a really easy kill and exactly what Gard needed to do. I mean, they find themselves almost 2,000 gold ahead, almost 4,000 experience ahead, and they just picked off really the only hero that matters.
Oh, they got my pros double damage off with the Tornado.
The Tornado Purge is going to bring down the Jakiro as well into that Mystic Flare, staying alive a little bit longer through that Cold Snap. The damage not quite there, but it keeps him in place. They'll be able to bring him down. So the Jakiro, Boom Bell to fall. Oh, WTF's even going to follow up. Oh, he'll actually find out SD was trying to go for that the flank, or maybe just escaping out that way.
He was running.
Oh, he was trying to get killed by the Centaur. Not going to happen, says WTF. You will pay with your blood.
Without a mechanism, this is bad. He's in range to get killed off. I don't know why he stuck around.
On cooldown, no mana anyways with that new 225 cost, seeing the effects there a little bit. I mean, granted it's on cooldown, but that thing is a heck of a lot of mana. Now it's Gard with that 9-kill advantage. Everyone picking up 185 off the kill of just that Razor. More from everyone else. SD now maybe even in trouble. Actually, no, take that back. It might be Sharky who's the one in trouble. He'll TP out. He's got that urn up. You know, actually, last game I cast, I don't think either team had an urn, and one team didn't have any blink daggers. My brain was blown. Blow your brain.
Was it it's team versus the Spectre? Because I can at least understand that a little bit.
Yeah, it was the Void Spectre, the team that had no blinks. Made sense, I guess.
So we do see Searing Chains coming out onto the Nyx Assassin there. Doesn't go for a Carapace play against him. They just want this tower, but Winter's got this Ravage. It might be a difficult one to get. He is going to go for Ravage.
It's going to be 1. Make it 2, actually, as it does just catch Boom Bell. My Pro's got a big static link, 112 damage. Winter will live. Going to use up those bottle charges as well. Arcane Bolt searching. Finds a dead target, actually. Lich brings him down. Now they're looking for Lakel's big Tornado. EMP coming out, not having mana, really hurts a Morphling as well. They can lock him down with that. Can they find it though? Morph into strength, it's not enough. Sharky actually with the double. Transition this Lich to a carry. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they have such good team fight right now. Like in general, like if they have an ultimate available, you can't go in. I'm not meaning like obviously Fire Remnant or Mystic Flare. Those are short CDs. But if you have a big one like Chain Frost,
to be fair, if you're an Ember, you need to have your ultimate to go in.
Yeah, it's fair. But as far as having an ultimate available for going the fight, you're looking for either Chain Frost. If you have either one of those, you can take pretty much any fight that the Nyx doesn't pick somebody off 100% from the beginning of. I mean, when a Blink Dagger comes out for Mama on the Earthshaker, that'll be different, but right now, he is just nowhere near it. 730 gold. He is actually the number 5 position. Apparently Jakiro's even prioritizing his farm over him, because at least he's got a magic wand.
Or just has died less. No, they're actually the same. 0, 2, and 1. Oh, 1, 2, 0, 0, 2, 1. So pretty much the same little flip-flop there. Jakiro's got some blood on one of the dragon heads. They smoke up, though. They're looking for a kill. It's going to be, once again, on TFG. He's got that tornado. He's got the EMP. They will set him up with a very, just the tip of the Fisher, and they'll bring him down. Put him out of his misery. Invoker goes down. He'll be dead for 40 seconds. Liquid Fire is here maxed out. MyPro's got the Eye of the Storm online, but no Ags yet. Not really helping with the push. There's the free glyph. They'll get it. Just delaying them a little bit, throwing out the glyph.
This is the best time window for MiTH Trust to take objectives because they don't have to worry about the Ravage. So they do take the tier 1 up top, and they do get some good farm, Lakel's with the MiTH, etc. But you look at Winter at his Dire Ancients. They do not have vision of this any longer. They know the Ancients are there, but by the time they look to contest it, it's already gone. Winter, like finding a Blink Dagger straight from these Ancients.
Oh, is that a Blink Dagger in the woods?
Sorry?
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. You know, it's middle of the night. I didn't sleep. I'm going to say things randomly. But we don't talk about it when it happens, but we see it. The smoke gank there. And another kill on Lakel's. The smoke gank of 3 heroes. And it's an easy pick-off with that silence to start things off. I feel like Skywrath, he looks like to be, yeah, he's going for a 4-staff. But honestly, like, Blink Dagger, Skywrath, I feel like very viable this game.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. 4-staff is going to be enough for him, I think, though. Like, in general, you're just looking to, like, move over top of fissures and stuff like that, pull somebody out of a bad, like, whenever you're hit by Ice Path, you're usually retreating. So it's all 4-staff is always going to pull you towards your ally base. So I think that if you're using it on an ally to bail them out, you're going to have a good time. Though, not going to be a good time is TFG.
Again.
Yeah,
they gank him up in the top lane once. You think he'd learn? He's been ganked in the top lane twice. If it happens again, it's his fault.
They have warded the hell out of this jungle too. Like the top lane in general has 2 really good wards for scouting out where he is and punishing him. They pinged it out, but you see the Sentry ward is absolutely nowhere near those 2 wards.
Yeah, it is in a pretty common spot. A lot of people will start putting wards here, and they'll put wards down here as well. So I like the attempt there, but it is just that kind of standard high cliff ward that does watch out on the camps a little bit there, coming out from MiTH Trust. So they're getting themselves back on the board. They're making some ground. They've found kills on Invoker twice, but Invoker was never really doing that well to begin with. Like, he's not the pickoff that you really need. It's Ember, WTF, 4-0-5, involved in 9 of the 13 kills. He's top of the net worth, 2,000 gold ahead of the Morphling right now. That's Lakel's. Also has a MiTH and multiple transmutes under his belt. Does have that ultimate orb, though. So he is coming along. He can maybe still win this game and put it on his back. But 4-13, they're behind 4,000 gold, about 7,000 experience to Gard, and Gard now looking to take another tier 1 tower for their troubles, pressing that advantage.
Yeah. They really have amped up the tempo now. They have the Ravage, they have the Chain Frost. They can just go in here.
And the
Haste
Blink
on
he
Winter
found in the
well.
woods.
Yeah, Blink and Haste. This is actually really terrifying to go up against. They have the Sentry Ward in place, so if the Nyx Assassin moves out, he has to know they see him coming. Like, it's just been what's been going on all game. So, yeah, he should be very careful about how he moves. And it really comes down not to the cores, but to the fact that the supporting cast has absolutely nothing right now. Like, Arcane Boots and Magic Wand is what we're seeing from the MiTH Trust support.
Oh.
Tornado opener, and this is going to be bad.
It's really kind of the Fisher opening it all up, but it's going to be the Ravage that closes it all down. WTF already on the mega kill as he kills the Razor, making it double, bring it down to Jakiro. Now they're going to chase Jab. He's like, please, not again. I've died so many times. Oh, Winter with the body blocks. Boom, and he disappears. Tidehunter gets that. That's going to finish up the Battle Fury as well, just under 20 minutes. Phase Drums, Battle Fury Bottle, 19 minutes and 40 seconds. They're going to take another tower off of that, and it's already more than 1,000 gold into the pockets of a WTF. Probably has the other team saying, WTF.
Yeah, this is absolutely devastating. The initiations for Winter throughout the past several months playing on this Tidehunter are extremely respectable, but there's only a few times that I've seen him actually have a game where his team is always at the ready to follow him up. But you look at the mobility on a hero like a Wex Invoker and an Ember Spirit, they can always follow up. They can always deliver the damage behind that Ravage, and he can go for the big blink plays a screen away. Like, it's absolutely insane. Yeah, so they're going to be able to take that early aggression. Yes, there is going to be Lakel's going for the Lincoln Sphere. He's farming up freely on the bottom lane, but it's not as quick as he'd like his free farm to be. Like, obviously, he's 20% behind the Ember Spirit right now, and as far as GPM goes. And, I mean, even with the Lincoln Sphere, he's not going to be immortal. They have a lot of quick spells to cancel out the Lincolns.
I feel like Yasha's the better item here.
I think he has to have a Manta Style within like 10 minutes.
That's what I meant when I said Yasha. Manta Style is the better item here. Well, I meant Yasha because he has already got the ultimate orb, but because we see Invoker building an Orchid, and obviously the silence from the Ancient Seal has been there the entire game, and like if he gets out of the silence, he lives. Otherwise, he dies. And the
Lincolns they have a gem.
Can't really
That's
do
not
that.
Gonna work.
Sharky's got the ultimate available. They won't need it though because G-Guard's ahead. They've already purchased that gem, that investment that they probably will not be losing this game. Lakel's almost gets brought down there by the Searing Chains Flame Guard, able to retreat out of that one. MiPro doing what he can to push out that top lane, working towards a BKB. And yeah, it's the Lincolns for Lakel's. I don't know. I don't like it. I mean, it'll help, but it's not my favorite choice.
If you picked it up at like the 15-minute mark with that free lane that he had, that would be great. Or 17 minutes, considering he did get the MiTH, it delays it by a few minutes there. But by picking it up here at the 22-minute mark, you're already you're too far behind. What you're going to see is the Skywrath Mage just 4 staffs off the Lincolns every single time, and then Ancient Seals immediately after the fact. So it actually isn't going to help you out because the Skywrath Mage has like a real steady income. So it's a very cheap investment to go for 2250 gold and get that 4 staff up and to make use of it. And in that sense, just completely negating the active component of that item. So yeah, Lakel's not feeling too hot right now, not feeling too stable, too survivable. He will get the Lincoln Sphere, but he desperately needs something more, a BKB or a Manta Style on top, before he can actually feel confident to push out towards tier 2s. In the meantime, of course, you mentioned the Orchid coming out for TFG. We're also going to be seeing a mechanism come out for Winter. Their team fight is just absolutely insane, and the gem investment was, I think, extremely smart. They're able to get control of the map entirely as far as wards go. They're able to stop any impending Nyx ganks on the hero that is most likely going to get Nyx ganked, which is that Skywrath Mage. Very low armor, high intelligence. That's the hero Nyx wants to be prowling on, but with a 4 staff and a gem, there's no way you get to melee range of him without a Blink Dagger, which he's 1200 gold off of. So yeah, I really think that Sharky made a really good choice there, and it's not like the Lich needs items anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this game begs to disagree. I'm pretty sure it's Skywrath Mage who's hunting the Nyx Assassin in this game.
Yeah, fair enough.
Jab is 0-6-3. We look at Sky. He's 3-0-10, involved in 13 of the 17 kills right now. The little Gard Ling. Pretty good performance here from Ling. Going to support up TFG. I mean, they know, like, the couple kills that MiTH Trust have been ganks on TFG, so they will smoke up beside him, and, well, maybe they don't even care. I think they're just going to roam out as the 3 Musketeers here. Let Ling do it, or TFG do his thing in the lane. Ling going to lead the way in case they do run into anyone. He's also got the gem, so he's going to be a little more forward with that.
If they kill Earthshaker, 200 gold from his Blink Dagger. That is the saddest
this is going to be
support.
devastating for SD, and there's really no one around to help him out. Who's the closest? Morphling's farming Ancients right now, but SD... It is nighttime, though. I mean, arguably not a good time to smoke gank, but they throw the Fisher out. Now they'll be backing up WTF, and let's see if there are any wards. Yep, spotted out. Oh, circles. Meh, not really quite circles, but... No, that's their ward. What am I saying? Yeah. Just kidding. Redacted. Redacted. Now they see them. There's the ping I expected.
Sure. So they're just going to hard push on bottom tier 2, and there's nothing to stop them. Like, they can try to rat it out as best they can, but there is no Aghanim's on the Razor. The Morphling isn't all that far. Okay!
There's the Ravage from Winter. SD will fall. Did he finish that Blink Dagger up? He had just bought it, so at least there's that for him. Tornado. It actually catches them both, and that's what Points and Wex will do for you guys. Boom Bell will survive. The mech comes in. Good TP response from MiPro. Not going to let his team down. Meanwhile, Jab pushing out the top lane, but it's the Earthshaker 2 fall, now 18-4. But again, purchase that Blink Dagger. That's the important part here. So the Blink and the Echo. Is Echo Slam rank 1 even enough at 24 minutes, though?
It's something. At least they get a level of initiation where they can start off their chain of spells. Like, the setup Jakiro needs to actually get a good team fight is on the back of these aftershocks. It's less about the damage the Echo Slam does and more about the fact that they can actually guarantee some impales and ice paths, and they can follow that up with macro pyres and dual breaths. Like, they just need to keep people in one spot. Otherwise, they're four-staffing, blinking, a Wex running all over the place, and you just can't control the fight.
Yeah, having to control this fight is really difficult. It's also difficult to control a fight when you're all stunned up in the Ravage. Granted, we haven't seen more than like a 2 or 3 person Ravage, but I
The
mean,
top
the
lane one was
potential's
4 people,
always there.
dude. It was all in the trees,
You know,
but
maybe this cameraman missed that, and it was not seen. So no, I saw it,
I mean, it was all across the lane. There was somebody in the trees in the west, somebody in the trees in the east, and it literally just hit everything.
Jakiro with these defensive plays, but now the tornado's going to come in. SD blocks the path there, blocking the lanes with that Fisher, and they'll be able to retreat out WTF. He did pop his newly finished BKB. That was a 10-second charge. Still quite a few useful charges left, but you'll love to see something crazy on that 10-second charge. Phase, Battle Fury, Drums, out of charges, by the way. And that BKB, and again, already another 1,600 gold, so he's probably going to look to start getting up that Crystallis, and I think Gard might be putting their sights on this Roshan pretty soon, because it's, you know, it's tier 2s into high ground that are coming up next. It would be nice to have that Aegis under your belt.
Yeah, this is a triple stack that Ember's farming up here with the Battle Fury Sleight of Fist. He's getting earned up, he's got the ice armor. It's easy for him to bring this down, and it is a lot of gold heading his way. He just hit the 15k net worth mark here at 26 minutes. Insane farm from WTF, and it's not really his to take off the map. Like, his CS is decent, but it's really the fact that his supporting cast has been just so good to him. They've been fighting really well. 18-4 is their kill advantage, so of course he's going to be 6-0-5 as an Ember. And then of course his ability to farm up those ancients. It's really on the back of his entire team that he is at this level ahead. He's still, with his skill alone, would be looking really good, but you only get this high of a GPM when you have an entire team behind you in that department. And even in the Invoker is bouncing back here with a little bit of MiTH, with a few kills here. TFG is actually able to bring himself above the Razor, respectively.
Yeah, we see MiTH trying to smoke up and not give up, trying to get on the board a little bit more than 4 kills. They'll put out some aggressive wards instead, but let's not forget that Gem is still there on the Skywrath Mage, on the little Guardling, and he'll be looking to take those out no problem. Might kill a Nyx for his troubles as well, making sure they weren't spotted. And, well, the Kels has been ganked a couple times. He's actually died 3 times, as we see the Nyx blinking over to give some mana. He does have that Blink Dagger finished up there, but Gard not really worried about any of that. So they're just going to try to push this tower in the bottom lane. They want to force the fights. Like, they're the team that has the fighting potential right now, so they're going to be the aggressors. Push those towers, force MiTH to come back, maybe catch them off guard with the TP, just force them to make a mistake, force them to fight. It might even be high ground after this tier 2. The Fortify will go out, so no Fortifies for another 5. Nope, alright, they're going to go defend. They want to fight, they'll take it up top, but I have a feeling that MiTH is going to try their best to dodge this. We already see people TPing out. The Kel's going to stay, but again, he does have that replicate. Only a Lincoln's, though, and there's quite a few silences on the field. It's not really life secured. Tornado? Meteor? There, it's gone.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Invoker actually invoke Meteor this early on in Exhort. He's got 3 points in Quas, 3 points in Exhort, and...
respect the meatball.
If you click on Invoker, do you have a weird buff bug? It was, I guess it's gone now, but he had like a 4th orb flickering for some reason for me. I don't know. Anyways,
TFG,
yeah.
the hyperbolic training has paid off here. Oh, WTF Wicked Sick, but up top, they're going on TFG. They go in with the Echo. That was the Blink Echo, I guess, sort of unveiling, and nothing happens, but it looks like Razor dies in the bottom lane. They're continuing to push the tier 2. TFG looking to cancel some TPs in the top lane. They'll dust up the Nyx Assassin Tornado, going to land on a few, and back to bottom lane. The tier 2 has fallen. They keep pushing. They're safe. They're healthy. WTF's already going on to the tier 3. Morphling, though, he's finished up the F-Blade. See if he can get anything done with that in these team fights. It's going to be tough, though. I mean, like, the only one he can kill is, I guess, Sky or Lich.
It'll still be hard even then. His agility just isn't high enough right now. It is a good item for having the opportunity to find kills, which is what they need. Right now, they just need to get their teeth sunk into some of that 6.82 rubber band gold. Like, he knows that it's not about him living through the fight anymore. It's about him finding just 1 or 2 kills to actually get to that next level, because as it stands, he will not be able to carry this game without them taking at least 1 full wipe off of Gard. So that's a great way to start it off. But we are going to see the Roche attempt and pretty much success. Like, they've got the Orchid amplification, they've got Alacrity on Ember. They are just pounding through this guy, and that is going to be the Aegis on the Ember Spirit with BKB, Battle Fury, and Crit here at 30 minutes along with the drum phase. Like, They're going to look for a replicant to pick that out pretty easy, but the really big deal is the fact that WTF can just go in fearlessly. Like, they can actually siege high ground with this, which is not something you often get to say as Ember Spirit at 30 minutes.
Yeah, and I don't want to Caster's Curse this, but as I see Twitch chat starting to point out, we are very, very close to the 420 dream. Will someone on G-Guard die, or will they get the kill to keep the 420 dream alive? I don't know, but what I do know, Razor picking up the BKB right now, have that delivered. Again, the Blink Dagger there on the Nyx could have that. You could have a Ravage on the side of MiTH Trust if Nyx gets his good positioning, if Jab can line it up. And they're going to smoke once more, just looking for the pickoff. They couldn't find it last time. It's not a good time to go, though, because like your middle lane is so pushed in, and now you just kind of ice pathed it out of nowhere, but whatever. They think Jakiro's mid. Everyone else is going to start pushing up top and try to find someone sort of on the last path. But I don't think this ward has tipped them off. They don't really know anything. I guess they see Ember right now, and that's about all the intel they got. And with that sentry down, they see him now. Okay. There they go. The pings come out onto the single player, but I feel like he kind of knows what's up. He's going to find the tornado. It's going to land on one. That's going to disable the Blink Dagger. He'll go in this. Skywrath needs to catch up. Let's go a little bit north. Let's see if they can get him there. And the blink away, the TP out. So Jab will narrowly escape, very narrowly actually, as WTF has the sense to jump top quickly. Uses a lot of mana to do so, but, well, Smoke Ink doesn't result in anything, and I got it. That was a few Smoke Inks in a row. They might be on cooldown for a big chunk of time for MiTH.
Yeah, Space Creative, they're just waiting out the Aegis. They are delaying it very nicely, and that's what you got to do. It's a penalty kill for them, is they really just need to make sure that this second life on the Ember Spirit is taken off the table before they get taken to high ground, because they just cannot fight at that level. But we do see there's going to be a pick-off. Boombell cannot get out of this one, and it is going to be Ling to take the kill. So he's looking really fine. Atos soon, and actually they find a second one as Invoker just hands it to him. What are they doing? Get the Replicant at least, so they won't get silenced in time for the Morphling to get picked off. But in the end, they just mech him, earn him up, and yeah, they are ramping up for this high ground push. It's still very difficult to do against the Earthshaker because he's a great turtle hero. So again, they are buying time very nicely, but feeding so much. We did see that 420 for a short time.
We did for like a couple seconds, if that. The dream was real, guys. We're moving on to greater things, though. 421.
It's just a really hard game. They don't have control over the map. They can't farm very rapidly. I think they only have the one MiTH, so yeah, they're just not really good at playing from behind here. They have the heroes that can certainly do it, but the GPM and the net worth advantage is extremely substantial for G-Guard. They're going to have to throw this one a little bit if there's any chance for MiTH to come back.
Yeah, I mean, what better time to throw than when you're going high ground and you've got an advantage? Feeling a little too overzealous, perhaps. It happened to MiTH Trust in the last game. It could happen to G-Guard here. Maybe a bit of retribution for MiTH if G-Guard were to drop this game right now. But Ember with that Aegis on the front line still has quite a bit of time on that one. Another minute and a half, I think it looked like, as I quickly glanced. Yeah, a minute and a half there. They'd like to siege high ground with it, but worst case, at least they can take a tier 2, get a little more map control. It's down. It's a deny, so MyPro does well to deny it. And actually looking at his items, Mech BKB. I mean, not really where you want to be at 34 minutes, only 10k net worth on the Razor. He's pretty far behind. The Invoker, I mean, he had a rough lane against that guy. He really caught up. Evaded some ganks, got involved in some kills, and now he sits 2,400 gold out ahead of his mid lane adversary.
I don't think it's that bad that the Razor is at this level of farm right now. As long as he at least has the mech and BKB, he's good. If he was behind that, then he'd be in a really bad spot. But the big thing here is that he doesn't miss BK being a Ravage, because Winter is prone to just blinking in really quickly right on top of you and popping that Ravage, getting the stun before you're immune. That's what he tried to do against the Morphling, and that did work, but of course he was able to morph because the Skywrath couldn't get a 4-staff plus silence off when they were farming in the western part of their jungle. So this situation, as long as Razor uses his BKB before the spells start flying, I think that MyPro is at an okay level, but Locales needs to be a tier above. He needs to be at that BKB, and he's still a few hundred gold off. So he'll keep farming down bottom, 2 more creep waves, and he'll have it, and then he can bounce back for a fight.
Yeah, meanwhile, during those 2 creep waves, they are going to lose their last tier 2 tower. Then will be all high ground pushing from here on out for G-Guard. They're still holding on to all of their tier 2s right now, going forward a little bit aggressively with that Sleight of Fist. Is WTF maybe trying to find a chains, just in case he caught a hero, but they'll get the tower, and I have a feeling they'll just be satisfied to back out off of this. They just lost the Aegis, and if they want to be safe about it, they'll probably just wait a little bit longer, do the next Roche. But here we go, the team that is behind. It's a big investment. Boombell picks up the gem. They'd like to get some more map control off of that. They'd like to be able to kill Invoker if he does get off that Ghost Walk. But Oi is 1-4-2. He has died a few times and does not want to end up giving up the gem, and then you just wasted 900 gold.
Yeah, that would be absolutely abysmal. But speaking of BKBs, we're going to be seeing TFG pick one up for himself. Oh boy!
This is a really rough game for this Nyx, man. 0-7 and 3. The
courier?
courier's coming in as well. That's a G-Guard's courier. It will be sniped up. Nothing on it. But the gnome and the pig are down.
Poor sign, Princess Penelope.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's not. I don't know. It's weird now that the couriers always change on who they're delivering to. So who knows whose courier it was? But I think G-Guard knows. They know who uses that courier. Someone's getting flamed.
Yeah. Well, it says it's Lich's courier, so I guess if they're using the morph thing, then Sharky is to blame. There were wards on the courier. There are wards in his inventory. I think we have our culprit.
I think it's Sharky. Tisk tisk. Courier's going to be pretty upset, but here they go. They're continuing to push the bottom lane. Probably because if they push this lane, they maybe swing up, push down middle, and these are the two lanes that control any sort of like positioning map vision towards the Roche pit. So G-Card, if they push out the lanes, they can just fall back to that Roche easily. But I wouldn't be surprised if they can just force high ground. Not too hard for them either. They'll find MyPro with the Searing Chains.
Oh, no.
They don't want to jump uphill onto it. Again, you talked about that. BKB is still there. The Tornado to follow up. EMP now actually going to be off the mark. Tower getting low. G-Guard wishing they had the Jakiro right now.
Yeah, you got to watch that Echo Slam too. Earthshaker's waiting for it. They get the ward on the high ground. The gem immediately takes care of it. But at least they got an idea of where Earthshaker was for a quick snapshot. So keeping the intel in mind, they have 2 Blink Daggers, 2 potential counter-initiators. It's all about the timing. Does Winter get the Ravage off? Does the Echo Slam or Impale come through first? And we'll have to see. This is a clutch moment for now. It's just going to be gradual Forge Spirit, Sleight of Fist, Harass, things along that line. They're just gradually slow sieging it, and they can afford to do this because they're actually doing more damage to the enemy, heroes and towers, without really expending any themselves. But it's still an opportunity. If they cluster up, the Earthshaker finds the Echo Slam. I could see G-Guard losing 3 heroes here, and it's going to be the opener.
Winter's going to go in. He hasn't ravaged yet. He's holding it a little bit longer. Lakel's is BKB'd up. He's joining the fight. Winter getting sectioned off away by MyPro. Damage drained as well. WTF, though, has got another kill. Monster kill there. He's still
no ravage,
fairly low. Yeah, they didn't use any abilities. Surprise, surprise. It's the Nyx assassin who falls right there.
Ember's going to heal up, and they'll go right again. They're going to just jump to his remnants, and they are going for it with the next wave.
Yeah, Ember Spirit might not be the tower damage dealing hero, but he sustains the push by being able to get out and get back in. Full HP, full mana once more, and he's already back. Ready to fight again. He's got the Daedalus, he's got the Battlefear BKB, 1 ultimate orb as he works towards that Scotty. We saw Jo on Rave get that Scotty first, and the last game worked out actually very, very nicely for them. That's just spreading that aura, that move speed slow and that attack speed slow through a team fight with 1 Sleight of Fist is pretty ridiculous. Might get to that point here. MyPro is going to go down. He does have buyback available right now, laying onto the mega kill streak as he picks up that one. The TB coming back in. TFG did throw out the BKB, but a nice tornado to throw Nyx up into the air. WTF going to get stunned out on that Spike Carapace. He doesn't break the static link. Apparently Sleight of Fist, no matter how far you go, will not break it because your positioning is still technically where you left. But it only drains 56 damage anyway, so he'll get caught in the bolas. He'll have to BKB up to get out of that. WTF going to chase. He's only got physical damage to aid him right now. The Sleight of Fist doesn't do enough, doesn't find the crit. They will, however, bring down the Tier 3 tower in the bottom lane. It's 4-25 right now, just under 40 minutes. MiTH Trust holding on for dear life right now as G-Guard are just looking to move on and get this game over with.
Yeah, Lakel's, it's all on him now. He's the only one who can actually do anything. He's just taking too much damage. He BKB's late, and they can just walk away from that. He wants to finally go because he's immune, but really, they're just getting nothing. Pinpricks of damage on their opponents, a couple more Urn Charges in their backup, and this is just completely ineffectual. Sharky has 3 Urn Charges. They go in, and without a BKB on Morphling, what can you do? 25 seconds on the Echo Slam CD. That's the timing. But can they actually stop this melee Rax from falling?
Still a level 1 Echo Slam at that. It's really not even that devastating unless it's Forge Spirits, a whole creep wave, and all the heroes. Then maybe it gets a little worrisome. But here you go. Lakel's going to jump in on Shark. He will bring him down. No more urn charges, but he gets silenced up. Lakel's, will he fall? He will. He does have buyback. Otherwise, he's dead for 80. And let's see, Invoker going to go over to Jab, getting some right clicks in. BKB's up to not get stunned. We'll find him with the right clicks. BKB maybe not needed. SD going to go in, finds the Echo. Fisher onto 2. One of them, Winter. Winter has thrown that Ravage, but the BKB'd Razor will fall down for 80. No buyback is available right there. Lakel's forced to use his buyback right now. It will be G-Guard just going to go out. And that, yeah, it basically kills it.
If Lakel's didn't buy back there, I'm like, okay, there are racks down. They're going to lose a lot of HP on their tier 3 top. They obviously are 24 kills behind, but they can try to pull it back. With Lakel's buying back there and shoving 1,300 gold down the drain, as well as losing out on all this farm up top. Like, look at all this gold he could have had with a single waveform, but all of it is going away to that buyback gold penalty debuff. So, yeah, I think that buyback cost them any chance of coming back into it. The Ember Spirit picked up with Scotty. He's going to get another Aegis, and then they're just going to go for yet another Death Push with Ravage back up.
Yeah, that Scotty is really going to hurt as well. Even if he gets silence, it's going to be slower. Going to make the Morphling even more manageable than he already is. So far, the unstoppable force that really is water has been pretty stopped just by the silence of that Skywrath Mage. The Ling has maybe deserved the MVP of this game. 6-0 and 17 in a game where you thought he might be getting picked off a lot, but it's been quite the opposite. Has anyone else not died? Ember Spirit 9-0 and 10 and 6-0 17. So,
but I would attribute that mostly to the hero and the draft. Like, how do you kill an Ember Spirit with the
yeah, most definitely.
You only Echo Slam, but you can't just say, okay, I Echo Slam the Ember and we almost killed him, because he'll still live long enough to BKB and Remnant out, and then you have no Echo Slam to defend. So once your backs are against the wall, the Echo Slam is not an initiation tool. It's well, it's a counter initiation tool, or it's a defense tool. And even these illusions are giving them trouble. Like, Ember Spirit just threw out some casual. I guess the illusion rune did get buffed, but jeez.
Yeah, for melee, they're ridiculous these days.
Scotty, that's a pretty good item.
Wow, Sheep even coming out for Invoker. And just before I get off the kill death assist, the not so perfect game here from Jab. 0, 10, and 3. Dude has had a rough time. He's like, can we stop defending? Can we just go to the next game? But they're going to keep on it. I mean, they do have that Morphling, and it is the Kel, so maybe the chance, the dream, it is potentially alive, although unlikely, as push coming in from the middle lane and from the top lane.
Looks like there was a smoke play from MiTH Trust, but almost all of it gets dispelled. Only the Earthshaker still in the smoke, but if there's one hero you want to be deceptive of his position, it is an Earthshaker. He might be able to make a big Echo Slam play, but, I mean, you got a freaking Bloodstone on your Skywrath. Like, how do you stop this? Dusky the Husky scouting out some delicious, delicious wards. And, yeah, this is gonna be the end of the game one way or another.
And that Fisher's already thrown out on cooldown for another 10 seconds. That is actually a pretty big ability in terms of just like their team fight and their control. But it's hard to stop the Ember. He's got the BKB, he's got the Remnants, he's got the Sleight of Fist. Like, he can maneuver around that. And the tier 3 tower has already fallen. He just keeps harassing with the Sleight of Fist. It's on the 6-second cooldown. The Forge Spirit starts working on the range racks here. And another Fisher to go out. Just trying to slow them down. MiTH Trust not giving up. They are being actually rather annoying on this defense. I mean, the threat is always there.
He just dodged Ethereal Blade with a Sleight of Fist. Oh, look at the damage, the crit onto Nyx as well. Oh, gosh.
Sleight of Fist will dodge X marks, by the way. Anyways. Random tidbit from the last broadcast. No one has died yet. Okay, there it goes. He had some Chain Frost bouncing around, and then, of course, his good old friend Ling is going to kill him. I think Jab's least favorite person in the world right now is this Skywrath. Gem is down on the deck here for MiTH Trust, and next to that gem is their fallen racks, which means 2 lanes of racks down. The GGs will come out here. Winter puts the many nails in the coffin with that Ravage, and it's just well-played G-Guard, looking really good under the new team tag. And I like what I saw. I mean, it was a really good mid-performance by the Razor starting things off, but just like a couple of the early game decisions and the fact that Morphling and Nyx were just so 100% countered by a Skywrath Mage, and Ember was not countered. 10-0 and 12, a perfect game for him and Ling on the Skywrath.
Yeah, I also like the fact that got to see a Quaswex Invoker here. Like a lot of times, you'll see since he did go for that MiTH and eventually the Sheep build, like you would say, okay, Exort Invoker could have done a lot because you get the Sun Strikes on Ember Spirit's targets with the Flame or with the Searing Chains and such, and that's all fine and dandy. But I really like to see something different there, and I think the Tornado actually did a lot of work as far as chasing, as far as controlling fights. I mean, you mentioned the fact that drum charges were essentially all used up within 5 minutes of him purchasing the item. It's because they were all about chase in that mid game, and they got some supreme dominance there where the Morphling didn't get room to farm. I mean, 544 GPM on a carry sounds good, but for Lakel's, that is actually his trench tier GPM. Like, that is extremely low for a carry of that caliber, and honestly, it was the suppression of the entire lineup of G-Guard that were able to make it so that he couldn't breach into that 4, 5, 6 slotted carry role. So well played to G-Guard, kind of unveiling this new alias of this team. It's this whole team of Malaysians. And I actually looked up their Facebook page for this new team, GG Esports, and they have a logo that says the Ultimate Car Protection Center. Don't know if they're already sponsored, but if that is and not a joke of a sponsor,
I feel like that's got to be a joke.
Really good team.
All right, guys. Well, I got this new mixer, so it's time for another hashtag sell out moment. As we go into the Helium voice. So this is Starladder Season 11. Make sure to buy the ticket. It's Helium and Blaze casting. And, well, we'll see you on the flip side, and we'll be back to normal voices. Peace.